Hi, my name is Mike, and I'm a Technical Product Marketing Manager at Forward Networks. In today's video, we will introduce the NQE for each and where statements. Let's see how they work. The for each statement lets you iterate over a list. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, the first three items in the data model is a list of records. Knowing this, let's create a new query and examine how the for each statement is structured and what the parts of the data model are on the right-hand side of the screen. So let's take our simple config, paste it in. So we have for each, whatever variable you want to call it, in network dot the part of the data model you want to access. The parts of the data model that we can access are devices, which contains records and information about all the devices that we collect data from. Locations contains records of locations about the devices that we collect. Cloud accounts contain records and information about all the public clouds we collect from. External sources can be any web-based external source that we can pull into the data model. For example, a Git repo, JSON API, and Google Sheets. And then CVE database contains all the CVE information that is downloaded from NIST and stored in the Forward database. So if we break down what this is doing, for example, let's start looking at devices. So we want to iterate over all the devices inside of the snapshot that we collected from. So what we want to do is the part of the data model we want to go after is devices. And typically when we name variables, they can be whatever you want. So I can call it blue, I can call it green, I can call it Halloween. But what we typically do is we take the singular version of the part of the data model, which is a list that we're collecting from. So in this instance, since we're collecting from a list called devices, in this variable, we would just call it device. So with this, we can actually take this and we can do some stuff with it. So if we type select, and then we want to see the device name, and we'll just do device.name. Device.name, and then click execute, and then we get all the devices. We can also do other stuff. So if we click on devices, we can get some system information, which could include host names or other names, some platform information, so who the vendor is, and we have a list of vendors that we can select from if we were to choose that particular part of the data model. What operating system of the device is. This is going to come in handy when we start talking about where in a few minutes. But we're going to look at interfaces. So in interfaces, because an interface is a list, now we want to also iterate over the interface list. So for that, we would do for each interface in, it would be the upper, so think of it like a tree. So we're going to go to device. So in device.interfaces. And now from here in our select statement, which is what we're going to return in the results pane, we can start looking at other specifics. So if we wanted to pull back the normalized interface name, as well as what the interface type is, we can do this. If we click prettify, it'll actually make it a little bit prettier for us. So when we click execute, now we see we have the device name, normalized interface name, and what kind of interface that is, whether it's an Ethernet interface, whether it's an IPsec tunnel, whether it's a routed VLAN, so on and so forth. As you might have noticed, this returns a lot of records. So now what if we wanted to filter them without filtering on the interface type? What if we wanted a specific query to look for something more specific? Fortunately, NQE has a built-in filtering mechanism that we can use in this query. That's the where statement. The where statement takes a statement that would evaluate to true or false. And if true, it'll return the results that you want to match. For example, if you wanted to return all IPsec interfaces, we would do where interface.interface type is equal to, double equal to, so now let's go to interfaces, interface type. So now the part of the data model we want to hit is iFace type. So it'll be equal to iFace type dot, and these are the interfaces we can look for here, but there's also a tooltip that pops up that gives you some good information that you can use, and you can just click on what you want. So we want to look for tunnel IPsec. Now let's take out interface type, because we know we're only looking for IPsec interfaces. Let's click execute, and we'll see this number of 1,883 drastically drop. All right, so now we're only getting 9 results back. So now, what if you wanted to write an NQE query that will look at all your IPsec interfaces, report on what the peer address is, and then give you what the administrative status is of that interface, and then give you what the operational status is of that interface? So what we're going to do for that is we're going to get a few more. We're going to add to this query. So what we're going to add is we're going to add PRIP. So it's whatever the interface tunnel destination address is, what the admin status is from the interface admin status, and then what the operational status is from the interface operational status. We click execute. Now we see we have the name, PRIP, admin status, operational status. This is good, but what if you wanted to be alerted every time a collection is run and you want to know what devices are admin status up but operational status down? So what we can do in this case is we can add a violation column, and that violation column is going to look at 2 specific things. So it's going to look at what the status, it's going to look at what the operational status is, and it's going to look at what the admin status is. So if we look at it, we're saying, okay, we want a violation when the interface operational status is down and the interface admin status is up. So now if we save this and added this to verify, every time a collection is run, so let's execute it so we can see what will happen. Anytime a collection is run, if you notice the violation column of true, what this would do is this would either send an email to admins, or if we had an integration into ServiceNow, it would take this information, put it into a ServiceNow ticket, and then it can be looked at, and if it's normal operation, it's normal operation, or if there is something wrong, then the teams have the data that they know of what tunnels are up and what tunnels are down. Without NQE, extracting data from the network would be next to impossible. But with some of our built-in queries, like being able to check for unused route maps or unused prefix lists, not only will this show you the unused ones, but you also may find misconfigurations with some of these built-in queries. Let us know what you found in your network using NQE. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.